Thank you, Jonathan. Now, we all know and love PepsiCo for their amazing beverages, but they also have some other incredible brands like Red Rock Deli Chips, Cicada Rice Crackers, and who doesn't love some Nobby's Nuts? Now, their products are consumed 1 billion times every single day. Just let that settle in. It's a lot. So how do they scale? How do they scale this? Well, what's interesting is that almost half of their sales are to small businesses. So how do they do that? Well, that's where their Agentforce comes in, right? And becoming an agentic enterprise, because they can scale their people, their processes, and their ways of work all the way through from their largest customers to their smallest. So let's take a look in a live demonstration. Now, partners and customers and prospects interact right there in the PepsiCo website. Now, I know what you're thinking. Really, Leandro, a website? Does it have PDF catalogs, contact us forms? No, this is powered by Agentforce. It's got an always-on conversational agent. So you can ask product questions, triage service requests, and even book time with the PepsiCo team. Now, right here, we've got Sarah. She's opening a new cafe in Pyrmont, and she wants to stock PepsiCo products. She's having a great time talking to the agent. But unlike talking to ChatGPT or Gemini, this agent is grounded in all of PepsiCo's knowledge. So it can recommend the hottest selling products in that area. Now, Sarah's a busy small business owner, so she gets distracted and she drops the chat, which for most organizations would mean a lost lead, but not at PepsiCo, because they've got Agentforce. And Agentforce is able to re-engage Sarah across any channel, SMS, WhatsApp, or right here in an email. Now, I know we have many marketers in the room, and you're thinking, is that just a nurture email, Leandro? No, this is so much more, because this is not a template. This was written from scratch by the agent, bringing the context from the chat, even layering in some other information, because it's trying to engage Sarah. But here's the best bit. Sarah can respond, and the agent will start having a two-way conversation. This is the end of the do not reply era. Now, Sarah's actually having such a good chat, she asks about pricing. And this is where the PepsiCo team have put in a guardrail. They want to make sure that those conversations are only had by their sales reps, right? So I'm going to pause here for a minute, because this is a big deal. We just had an agent conversation on a website. We brought Sarah across on another channel. We re-engaged her. We qualified her. And then the agent went and booked a meeting. Think about the amount of time that's spent on that in every single company in this room. It's a lot of time for sales reps. In fact, we just surveyed over 4,000 sales reps in the latest State of Sales report. And what they uncovered in that was that 70% of their time was on non-sales and admin. That's just over 1 day to actually do sales. That is crazy, which is why our engineering team have been working so hard on bringing to you a connected sales workspace where agents and reps come together. Now, this is not sales reps trying to bolt on other tools or swivel chair to other activities. They've got agents right there. Let's take a look at that. Accounts researched, calls transcribed, meetings booked, opportunities updated. This is what the agent is doing on behalf of the rep to supercharge them, to make them more productive. Right there up top, we also have an embedded Tableau dashboard. That's where the rep can see how they're going. Looks like they might be missing their quota. So Agentforce is looking at what other opportunities can be pulled in to be able to help close the gap. Now, a little bit further below, Agentforce is trying to focus this rep. Like, what should they do right now? Actually, it's preparing for this meeting, and it's just in an hour. So this rep is freaking out, but Agentforce has got their back because it can prepare a pre-meeting brief. So they can jump over to the Slack mobile app. We know reps are not always behind their desk, and continue this. So let's take a look at that. Now, in this, we've had a whole briefing being done for the rep that brings together latest materials, pricing. These things take normally a long time for the rep to find. And then a recap of all the conversations the agent has had, and then some insights. This is going to ensure that the rep shows up confident, prepared, and that Sarah feels like a valued customer, even though she's only a small business. Now, the good news is that business is closed. And so we were able to wrap that up. The PepsiCo rep is very, very excited. Now, fast forward a few months. Sarah's cafe is booming so well that, in fact, she's been working the fridge hard, and unfortunately, it breaks down. Now, as we know, for a small business owner, that's a big deal. That's going to be a lot of lost revenue. Now, this is where we activate a different part of the PepsiCo team, the operations team. And so they trigger a field service notification. Oh, Wow, looks like it's come to me. So maybe they're running out of staff there at PepsiCo. So you know what? I'm just going to have to bust into field service gear. Just give me a moment, folks. This is my moonlight job right here. Okay, I am now a field service technician for PepsiCo. And I've got a lot to get across. I need to figure out what was reported, what's the equipment that I'm going to interact with, and do I have the parts on my truck? I don't want to go back again. All right, I'm going to adjust this. There we go. All right, folks. So here's the thing. Agentforce has given me a crisp pre-work brief. Look at that. I don't have to rummage around. And here's the best part. I can read it out loud. That's what I call a productive commute time. Now, when I get on site, I've got a lot to do. I also need to fix the fridge, but I also need to do something that's very important to PepsiCo, which is document what I've done. It's really important to ensure that there's record keeping for everyone's purposes. Now, as a technician, I don't really like doing that. I've just been working hard on a fridge, can't you tell? And now I need to document what I've done. So this is where there's a new capability called Voice to Form in the Field Service app, which, by the way, is also the first time we're demonstrating this live. So another round of applause, please, while we do this. I wanted to show you live. Okay, so I've just fixed the fridge. So just imagine I'm in the cafe. You can see the nice picture there. And I'm about to give my update. I'm looking at a front display fridge. When I arrived, it was running hot at 9 degrees. It's now at 3 degrees, which is according to the manufacturer's specifications. I did that by responding and fixing the temperature sensor. Oh yeah, that's right. I moved the fridge 0.5 meter to improve ventilation. Okay, we're going to upload that now. Okay, so what's just happened? I gave an update, and it got transcribed into it, but also the relevant areas were mapped in, right? So I didn't have to sort of follow the order of the flow of the form. And I also said meters, and as you can see there, oh, that's right, it needed centimeters. But that's all right, it was all worked out. So this is the difference from just speech to text. This is speech to context. And as Frank introduced earlier, this is feeding that system of context, right? So now not only am I saving time, I'm also feeding that for the agent and future technicians that have the same problem. Now, when I was on site, I also was talking to Sarah, and she mentioned that she wanted to stock a new range of Red Rock deli chips. Now, this is that awkward part where I would need to say, I'm in service, that's actually customer sales, and I can't do that. But no, because PepsiCo is an Agentic Enterprise, which means all of their parts of the business are operated by Agentforce, which means that that can happen right now. So the field service technician asks, right here, can I generate a quote? Agentforce can come back with that and even be aware that there was a service disruption and generate that as well. This is how you move a field service technician from fixing problems to generating revenue. I know all the business owners out there are going to love that. And also for Sarah, as a small business owner, it means that she gets her products faster than ever before. Actually, so fast, they've arrived over here. Oh, I think we didn't order enough for the whole room. It's all right, we've got lunch in the campground later, folks. Maybe we'll just hand out a few over there. All right, so that is a taste, no pun intended, of how PepsiCo has become an agentic enterprise.